The mother entered her daughter's room for the first time in 7 years, but she couldn't believe how hard her daughter was living. She obviously calls home $50,000 a month for living expenses, although it can't make a person rich and wealthy but still can eat and dress without worry. But her daughter's wardrobe does not even have a piece of clothing, and even the shoes she wears are left over from her nephew. But the nephew's room next door was full of all kinds of snacks. However, she was even more saddened when she opened her daughter's diary. It clearly recorded how she was bullied by her grandmother. It was only at this moment that the couple realized that their daughter had had such a hard time with her mother-in-law all these years. It turns out that 7 years ago, in order to have enough money to let the child study, the couple had to go out to work. They let their daughter stay in the countryside and live with her mother-in-law. Soon 7 years passed. The couple succeeded in starting a company with their own efforts, so they planned to go home to see their daughter, whom they had not seen for years. But little did they know that the wicked grandmother did not like her granddaughter at all. She spends all the money they send back every month on her nephew. Even the girl wanted to eat a mouthful of rice. Grandmother did not want to let her eat, but also let him eat melon seeds to fill hunger. The girl was so hungry that she couldn't stand it anymore, so she had to call her parents while her grandmother was no longer there. She cried and begged them to come back and pick her up, but busy company listing parents intend to wait until the completion of the matter at hand to pick her home, and then hung up the phone. Little did they know that their daughter could not wait for the day they returned. That's when the grandmother happened to bump into her granddaughter secretly making a phone call. In order to punish her, the grandmother made her stand outside the door all night and not allowed to come in. Eventually the little girl couldn't stand the torture and fainted in the rain. The uncle found that his niece's forehead was very hot, and he wanted to take her to the hospital, but the grandmother stopped him from going. She said that a trip to the hospital would cost a lot of money, and said that as long as the little girl slept, she would be fine tomorrow. Just then the girl's parents suddenly called and asked the brother what was wrong with their daughter, but the brother was too embarrassed to say a word. Grandma immediately grabbed the phone when she saw this. She said that the girl was playful and had accidentally caught a cold, and that she had already been to the hospital. Grandma told them not to worry too much. After hearing this, the man immediately transferred $20,000 of medical expenses and urged the mother to take care of her daughter. As a result, the mother got the money and had to throw a birthday party for her grandson. In the end, the girl did not last until the day her parents came home, and left her life late at night with tears in her eyes. The next day the grandmother told her to hurry up and get up to prepare the birthday party for her brother, but she couldn't wake the girl up. She then tried to see if the girl was breathing, but when she tried she got shocked and sat down on the floor. It was because of her bad treatment that the girl passed away. The grandmother rushed to call her son at this point because she didn't know what to do. She asked her son to come over quickly to see the girl. After 20 minutes, the girl's uncle came to her bedside. He fell on his knees and cried loudly. He simply could not believe that the girl who was alive and well yesterday had lost her life today. He shouted at his mother that it was all her fault for not taking the girl to the hospital for treatment to save money. Otherwise this would not have happened. But how could the mother admit it? At this point the younger brother wanted to tell his elder brother about the situation, but he was quickly stopped by the mother. The mother said that her grandson's school expenses were high, as well as the usual daily living expenses. If he told the girl's parents about the situation, then the $50,000 per month would be gone and they would have no way to live. But at that moment, there was a knock at the girl had been dead for 3 days and nights. Her parents in the city were completely unaware, until the day of the girl's birthday. The parents finally decided to visit her. However, just as they arrived at the house, the father saw his brother carrying a large bag to throw away. The man curiously asked his brother what he was doing. The brother nervously replied that he was taking out the trash. The father offered to help him, but the brother quickly refused. Just as the brother turned to leave, a stuffed teddy bear fell out of the bag. This was the girl's favorite teddy bear. The mother immediately recognized it. Seeing this, the man started to feel that something was wrong, and questioned his brother about what was really going on. The brother stammered, unable to give a clear explanation. Seeing the situation falling apart, the grandmother suddenly stepped forward. She said that she had already bought a new bear for the girl, trying to cover up the truth. 6 years ago, after the couple had their daughter, they left the village, and moved to the city to work and start their business. They left their daughter with their grandmother in the village. After years of hard work, their business became successful. They wanted to repay the grandmother for taking care of their granddaughter, so they send tens of thousands of dollars every month to improve their living conditions. However, the grandmother who favored boys over girls never liked her granddaughter. She spent all the money they sent on her grandson. The best food in the house went to the grandson, while the girl often went hungry, even when the girl had been starving for days. And I only wanted a bowl of porridge. The grandmother refused to give it to her. One day, the girl was so hungry she couldn't stand it any longer. She secretly used her grandmother's phone to call her parents, crying and begging them to come get her. She choked up, her voice filled with despair and longing. But her parents were busy with their company going public. They quickly comforted her, telling her to hold on a bit longer, that they would come as soon as they finished what they were working on. After saying that, they hung up the phone, and returned all their focus to work. That phone call was the girl's last cry for help. It was her only hope, but it was shattered without mercy. When the grandmother found out the girl had called her parents. She flew into a rage. She immediately beat the girl and forced her to kneel at the door for an entire day and night. That day, the wind was bitterly cold. The rain mercilessly pounded on the girl. The next morning, the uncle passed by and found the girl barely alive. He hurried to take her to the hospital, but the grandmother stopped him coldly, saying that the girl was a useless burden, not worth wasting money to save. She told her son to carry the girl back to her room to sleep, saying that she would be fine after some rest. By this time, the girl was already on the brink of death, yet her life was being treated with such indifference. At that moment, the parents called to check on the girl. The uncle hesitated, not knowing what to say. The grandmother calmly took the phone and lied that the girl had been playing and caught a cold and was resting. No need to worry too much. The man heard this and immediately transferred $20,000, instructing the grandmother to take good care of his daughter. But that money wasn't used to treat the girl. The grandmother took the money to buy toys for her grandson and planned to throw a birthday party for him. The girl never got to see her parents return. She quietly left this cold world, holding her beloved teddy bear. The next morning, the grandmother called the girl to wake up like usual, but she never responded. The grandmother then realized the girl was no longer breathing. She panicked and called her second son. The second son saw the girl's condition and was filled with guilt. He blamed his mother for not spending a little bit of money to save her. He said he was going to inform his older brother immediately, but the grandmother coldly refused, saying that the girl had bad luck and it was her fate to die. She told her son to keep it a secret and not let the older brother and his wife know. By nightfall, the girl's parents were desperately searching for her. They called her name anxiously, until finally, near the pile of trash, the man lifted a straw mat and saw his daughter's cold body lying quietly beneath it.